Derek Leonard out of the Rochester High School, the Rockets near Springfield, Illinois. And look at all those championship folks. He knows how to do some stuff. So, Coach, it's all you.
Thank you. Thanks for introducing me. Guys, I appreciate you having me on, and kind of cool and neat to talk to somebody else outside our state. Um, Two reasons I want to talk. Number one, I feel like you guys are in the same spot we are. I kind of feel bad for California and Illinois. We're kind of the same spot, football, spring, and all that crazy stuff. And um, the second reason is, just doing a favor for one of my friends. And, so what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to give you, we are a spread offensive team. I've been here 15 years. I always say I'm a coach's son, and my dad is I try not to talk too much about myself, but my dad's the most winning coach in the state of Illinois. I think he's at 410. I don't know what he's at wins. So I grew up around it, and we play each other now. But outside of my father, probably my second biggest influence as a coach was my offensive coordinator in college, and he is now the head coach at the University of Redlands, Jim Good. And I know he's listening. And so if you guys ever, it was one of the best experiences I had in college. He taught me so many things. And at the time, we were a college that, man, I think in Sports Illustrated, from Division I to Division III, we were ranked one of the worst football programs in the history of the last 100 years. And we kind of went together, and I was a quarterback. I know I don't look like one now, but and he was a young offensive coordinator, and man, he just taught me so much about so many things. And so, man, if you got a kid down there in Southern California or anywhere in California, I mean, he's as good as it gets. Good quality person, quality man. We're still friends to this day. And like I said, outside of my father, he's probably the second biggest influence that I had coaching. And a lot of the stuff, even today, that I do 18 years later, has, some fingerprints that he had, from my college days. And so, like I said, and we'll get into this quick. I don't want to talk about myself. I wanted to take a shout out at University of Redlands for a second. So, been lucky, like he said, we've won 8 of the last 10 state championships. We're 4A out of 8A here in Illinois. We're a public school. We're a spread. We are a gap scheme team. We are not a zone team. We go fast, no huddle, as fast as humanly possible. That's kind of, big quick game, screen, vertical team, but man, we're a gap scheme. We're really a spread team that wants to run the ball. Now we've thrown it around, and each team is different, but the base is the same. What I'm going to present to you today, I thought a little bit something different, is all the crazy things we've done in 10 years. The crazy formations or things. And it seems crazy, but it's fun. And there's a reason, right? There's hey, and I've won 8 state championships, guys, and I hate people who get on there and say, we won, and everyone's better than us, and because you don't win a state championship, you're not even good unless you got some good players and good athletes. But I think the great coaches truly, sometimes you do have a great team. And I love horse racing, and I use the example of sometimes great horses. It doesn't matter if you're in front, if you're in back, if you're in a bunch of trouble, you can win. But some horses, hey, they're front runners, they're closers. They have to run a certain race to be able to win, right? Things have to go their way. And football teams are the same way. There's some teams that, man, you got to start early. You got to go fast. You got to be able to run the ball. Whatever it is, you got to play to your talent. And in high school, every year is different. Now, some places that's not the case. Some places, hey, you're always good, and you can do your system. But hey, like I said, we're a school of 800. At times we got, we're a running team. At times, hey, we might throw 50%, and that might be balanced to us. And other times it might be 70-30 run pass. So I've been lucky. This is the last 10 years of quarterbacks that we've had. I've had 7 Division I kids in 10 years. And each kid's been a little bit different. Some years, 2011, we throw for 5,000. Other years, we've always thrown for over 3,000 in the last 10 years every year. And probably the thing I'm most proud of is the interceptions. We've never thrown double-digit interceptions. We've lived in the upper 60s, lower 70s percent wise. And but every quarterback's been different. And kind of with these formations, I'm going to show you. I got a kid at Southern Illinois. He's 5'8", but he's probably the best kid I've ever had. He'll probably be their starter next year. Then I had a kid, Wes Lunt, who started Oklahoma State as a true freshman. Went into Illinois, 6'5", prototypical pro style, but man, he couldn't run. And so how do you do what you do and try to, to take your team around your quarterback, or take, your quarterback around your team, depending on whatever your strength is. What I'm going to show you with these crazy formations, guys, is things that I'm trying to produce, or things that I want to take from it without being crazy. Like, you're going to see a lot of this stuff. You're going to think, man, when does he implement this? When does he do this? And all this stuff is over 10 years time. So some years I do a lot of these things. Some years I don't do any of it. And sometimes I'll do this thing and or vice versa. And I'll kind of get into that as we go. So with these crazy formations, what I'm trying to do is take what the defense gives us, right? And like I said, I've learned from a lot of great people. And what I learned is sometimes you can't force it. Like, say, some great teams, you can force things. And a lot of times we're going to play somebody that's better than us, and we got to be able to take what they give us, what the defense is giving us. And I know everyone says that about their offense. But I think these formations, these plays, these kind of things give you an advantage sometimes that maybe you can't run the ball, even if they have a 5-man box, a 5.5-man box, right? And you still can't run the ball. I've been there. And, on the whiteboard you can, but when you get out there, you can't run it, even with a 5-man box. And so how do you still throw the ball, and how do you still be successful? I always find this as a way of getting my best player the football, and especially at receiver and running back. At running back, different ways of getting him the ball in space. Maybe he doesn't have great hands, or different ways, just not pounding up the middle, outside zone, inside zone. Like I said, we don't run zone anyways, but GT power, buck sweep, different ways of just doing that and finding ways. And same thing with receivers. We want to punish teams for double teaming our best player. And usually that's at receiver. When you have a great player, and we've had some great ones. I had a kid last year, a sophomore, he caught for, I think, 2,100 yards. And he's a sophomore. And, he caught, I think, 110 passes in the year. And but teams were starting to double team him. So we had to find ways to still get him the ball, even though he was being double teamed, or punish them for double teaming and looking for other things. And the other thing is, it makes you practice, right? When you do some of this stuff, we've all been in those meetings. Sometimes you waste an hour talking about, polecat, or they do this thing, and you've wasted it. It's kind of like, look at the bright light. It's almost a distraction. And so you want to make these guys take time, because this is not what we do. This is not our base. Like I said, we are a gap scheme, power run, shotgun team. We're going to go fast. Doesn't mean this doesn't have success and you better practice it, but we are just not a gimmick team. You don't win 8 state championships being a gimmick team, but I think it's a good addition to the things we do. Keeps the offense the same. Don't make up plays. So a lot of this stuff I'm going to show you guys is stuff. The formations are different. Some of the things are different, but really it is the same plays. I'm not implementing new plays in each week. Every once in a while we are, yes, but for the most part, this is stuff that these guys can do. And there's not a ton of thinking that's going on. If there's too much thinking, or if it's not in our system, a lot of times if I'm doing too much of that, we're probably in trouble. And so I want stuff. This is going to look like a lot of stuff, but it's not. A lot of things we do are linemen or backup receivers. We're using different people. We're not using 11 always out there. We're bringing people off the bench. And I think that's, and you see the last one, it's fun. And that's what I learned from Coach Good. I learned from my dad. Man, you better have a good time. It better be fun for these kids. And that's all the time. Practice. That doesn't mean it's not strict. It doesn't mean we're not tough. It doesn't mean we're not physical. But, man, we want to have fun. And I think all this stuff is fun. It gives the kids a little bit of, just gets them out of their element, gets us out of our element. And just, man, some of these linemen will go stand out and play a receiver. And just a lineman standing in a receiver stance, that like makes their day. It's crazy, but it's, they find it entertaining, and you give them a chance to do something different. So the first thing, guys, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to try to go through this pretty quick. And if you got any questions, please put in the chat. We're a big bubble, quick screen. I love RPOs. I like more of the pre-snap RPO stuff. We've been running GT bubble and reading the end. We've been doing that, guy. My dad's been doing that for 15 years. And so that's my favorite stuff. And so we've really focused on, hey, the bubble now, all the quick screen kind of stuff. So one thing about 4 or 5 years ago we came up with is, and I was watching Canadian football, and I thought, man, what they're running for, and I think, so we started doing this, and what I love about it is it makes the bubble hit so much faster. And we put this X receiver back about 15 yards, and it's just a bubble. It's a quick screen, but it hits so much faster and differently. And I think like it's a punt return almost. So as you can see, the receiver's back here at 15 yards. And it matters the receiver, how fast. Now, this kid is probably the fastest player I've had, one of them. He's legit 4'5" kind of kid, 4'6" kind of kid. So, man, we go, some of the kids, they're not as fast kids, line up about 12, 13. He's about 15, 16. And on the word hike, they're just going to, he's full speed. Now, he's about 80, 90%. And then when he catches the ball, he's full speed. We want this quarterback to throw it about just barely in front of him. So we time it out. You'll see, and this is pretty good here. He's going to catch it, just like I said, about a yard in front of the quarterback. But what this does is a few things. Number one, it puts pressure on these DBs right now. And what I like about this is with the receivers is you can be much more aggressive on your block. With the bubbles and now screens, a lot of times you got to get there, break down, play the right shoulder, do all that. With this, you're a little bit quicker, and it just hits faster. Now, a lot of times what we're doing here is we got the quick screen here. We got our one-on-one now. He can run a hitch, go slant kind of thing, and then we got a quarterback draw in here. So really we got 3 plays in one. So I'll just let it roll here. And again, it puts our best player in space versus their, you can see from the back view here. And again, this is just a pre-snap read. Now, if I don't trust the quarterback, I can tell the quarterback, I can point, I can go left. Okay, he throws the single side. If I go right, he throws the right. If I point to him, it's quarterback draw. This kid I trust, and he's at Western Illinois. Man, he can read, hey, there's 6, 7, 8 guys. That means they only got 3 from the hash out. So now this linebacker, if we block it right, or the free safety is going to have to make a play. So it's an easy decision, just like any bubble, to get it out there, throw it out there, give him, like I said, our best player in space. It's like a punt return, right? It just changes the face of the bubble in the now. Here's a better view, a wider view of how deep we are. And again, he throws it. We work on it, practice, and I thought it would take a little bit longer, but it only took a day or so just to work on it. Now we only let certain guys run it back there, but we get it timed out where he's not throwing behind him, obviously, and we don't want to throw it at the line of scrimmage. We want somebody, and our quarterbacks are usually at 5.5. Their toes are at 5.5. So we want them to catch it anywhere from 5 to 3, right from the line of scrimmage. So. Now that was the last 4 years. This year in the spring, what I decided to do was I kind of started putting it in a regular offense. Like that was kind of gimmicky. You know, we do some different things, and I'll show you some other stuff. But now we are almost putting this in our regular offense where we stack our receivers a lot, throw bubble. I thought, man, let's just try it with our RPO run, regular run. So we just got a normal fullback set here, H-back set, and I think we're going to run power. So, man, it was something I kind of wanted to try out during the season. And so we only had a 6-game season, and I really like it. Again, I think it just hits faster, hits different. Now we still bubble and do all that. So we're running a dart concept here, quick motion, the fullback, and again, and what it's given us here, man, this is against my dad's team. Man, they are eliminating 1, 2, 3, 4 people out of the box, just by us doing that, right? So I think it's an ultimate type of RPO or something that just is something the defense, what you could tell people weren't used to it. They didn't really know how to attack it. These backers were much more aggressive. Sorry, here we go. Now here's the short side, same thing. Again, we go fast, man. As soon as they set it, we're going. Coach Good, there's John Allison right there, buddy, down on the sideline. So now I'll say this with the receiver blocking. And again, we were kind of, man, this was, we did it a lot they need to be a lot more aggressive on their block. It doesn't mean they come off the ball flying. They coast off, but once they decide, they have to know in their head, man, this thing is coming a lot quicker. And I'll show you from the back view, he should attack this kid a lot quicker, and he didn't block anybody. But so see, man, he wants to, boom, he needs to go attack him right now. And now, man, this kid, hey, he's the deep third guy or the quarters guy, right? Our best player's got a full speed run at him. And again, this is the kind of thing that happens. This kid's a player and makes a play. So again, the blocking's a little bit different. That was probably more than the actual pass. It's probably the blocking and how, in a normal bubble now, those guys, man, they get out there, they 1 to 2, they work out, and then they make contact, stay on. Well, this just hits a lot faster. So then which I'll get into this in a second. Now, man, we do the slant wheel. We give a bunch of different looks off of it, obviously, and I'll come back to this, but man, their guy was aggressive. So now, like I said, man, it's a great play, but now these DBs and linebackers have to trigger so fast, it even opens up the 4-vert, and this is a basic, draw up of it. We're a big vertical team, bunch of different. We barely ever run just normal, regular 4-vert. We're running some kind of, trail or, a bunch of different ways of getting to it, but it ends up being 4-vert in the end. But this is a great way because like I said, it puts pressure on the defense right now. But it's just a 4-vert read for the quarterback. Again, it makes that what I call the bubble buster, man. He's gotta be aggressive and trigger so much quicker than he normally would. And again, I'm big on guys. Anything that makes that defense, when you just line up 3x1, 2x2, and you do these guys are so trained now, and the DBs are so good on how to play bubble and play all those things. Where you getting this, it throws those boys off. And I want to do anything that throws that defense off, but keeps it the same for the quarterback. This is a 4-vert read. Here's a farther back view. Now, so the other thing we'll do a little bit is we'll move a tackle out there, right, and make it a 5-man surface over there. We'll put, which you'll see, and I'll get into this in a minute, we'll put receivers out there in lineman numbers. So if I don't feel like the tackles can block, move well in space, we'll bring up our backup receivers out there as maybe the C receiver. A kid that's a sophomore. Again, it keeps kids, gives your lineman a break, but it's also fun for some of your backup receivers. And we did this against this team. This was the semifinals last year. Again, we wanted to double team the bubble buster, the strong safety, whatever you want to call him. Instead of putting one guy on him, okay, this is a way of putting two. And again, we're just still running quarterback draw. In the middle, we're running a single side route. And I didn't put a lot of single times we throw it to the single side. But a lot of times they'll overcompensate to obviously to the field, to the wide side. And the quarterback can, he's got three options. Let me go back to. So again, this year, what we started doing, again, we're kind of making it a real part of our offense. The slot guys now back, and we started doing some, like I said, man, turned it into RPO where we slant or glance post with the wheel, which is the wheel's just a natural go. We'd actually run a go where he just trailed. So, man, it ended up being a whole shot here to the slot. So there's some things we're starting to do that I really liked. And some of the stuff I tested I didn't love, but man, this was a few things that I liked. Again, it makes that DB, if he steps up, boy, he better be fast. And this kid is fast. This kid's got offered by the kid guarding him. He's been offered by a few 1AA schools, and he couldn't hang. Again, that kid's got a running start ahead of him. So just different looks, different things. Again, it puts pressure on the defense. It's just a bubble or stack concept, but again, it's hitting it in a different way. All right, the next thing that we did this in 2000. My dad was a big polecat guy, and I like a lot of that A11 stuff. And we started this in 2009, and we actually did it in the 2010 state championship a bunch. But we started moving the tackles out here and move them around, right? So we had a 3-man lineman surface. But a lot of times now, certain years, if you feel good about putting your lineman out there, man, we put linemen out there. But a lot of times what we do now is put receivers and lineman numbers and let them go out there. So when we call this formation, they run out, linemen come off. So really it looks like, you got 7 skills guys. But all this is for us guys is empty right? I got the X, Y, Z to the right. I got A, B to the left. And all we're doing is, hey, we're running quick game or some kind of routes to the left. We usually got a quick screen or something to the right, and we got quarterback draw in the middle. Now, there's obviously more variations to that, but in the basic general is that, man. So he really, again, has a 3-way go. And this is just a great way for us, especially against teams that are bigger up front who, man, and in Illinois, guys, a lot of times when you get in these, the semifinal state championship games, we're more of a spread in Central Illinois. So, it's a little bit more spread. You get up north, the Augustana wing tee, you get in some pounded double wing teams. So it's a different style of football. And so sometimes, which I'll get into, this is a state championship game, 2011. And this nose tackle here, he was a state championship wrestler. And I'm telling you what, we couldn't have blocked him ever. But again, they were a wing tee team, well coached. But we were a spread it out, throw it. The quarterback threw for 5,000 this year, and this kid over here to the left. Any normal time, and I talked about this. We were an empty trio, 2x2, 3x1. They were double teaming this kid right here. Okay, this kid had 2,600 yards. He led the nation that year, and I think he had 146 catches in 1 year, and didn't have one Division I offer. But this formation was the one time they did not double team him because so this was just a way of us throwing quick game. Now, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll throw, like I said, we're going to throw a bubble or now screen over here to the right side, right? We have that. Again, he has the option of quarterback draw here. And usually we're doing some kind of 2-man concept over here, whatever it may be. So we long count. He looks over. Call the play. Again, this is the only time this kid has single coverage. So I bet that we throw the hitch, get him the ball, let him go. Again, this year there were 2 people. These were linemen. But later on years, these were usually receivers again in lineman numbers. Okay, guys that block better in space. A lot of times, like I said, we're throwing quick screen over there. You can see. Again, now we wouldn't have called this, but again, this is the only time this kid got single coverage. So as soon as we saw single coverage, like we should have kept throwing the hitch, right? But he was so good at the jump balls and the high point in the ball. We said, man, let's take a shot. We're in a sluggo. Again, anything that we get one-on-one with that kid, we took a shot. Again, this was the one formation. They did not double team him. And again, we weren't a great running team, and they were wing T, so it didn't matter what defense they were in, they were going to stop our run. And so we had to find ways to get this kid the ball. And it was a great game. I think there were 1,200 yards in the game, and we won 45 to 43 last second. They were driving down, and we stopped them barely. But it was a great game. Now what you see, so the other part is, man, they are not rushing anybody. This kid that we were so worried about isn't even rushing. Okay, so they put him off, and earlier they were just rushing him. So now we had 3-on-1. So we're playing, even though we're playing 10-on-7 here, we still felt good with that because, man, our kid wasn't getting any pressure. I probably should have stayed in this longer than I did. I think that this was the game we ran at the most, this kind of formation. We ran about 17 plays in the championship game. But, man, he's not even being rushed. And, again, we're just calling bubble. We feel like, man, the numbers are still over there. We're a big back pedal bubble team. I do not like the shotgun. We're a big back pedal team. I hate it as a quarterback, the little arcing thing, under center and shotgun and throwing that. I think I was probably 50% completion percentage on that. So early in my coaching career, I saw coach at back pedal, and man, that we've done that for 15 years. I'm a big believer in it. So now you can see, I put this on here again. The wide side, these are two receivers again in lineman numbers. And now we got them outnumbered to the field, to the strength side. So we're just going to throw a quick screen out there to the slot. And that was our running back this year. Again, now it's just Oklahoma drill. It's ISO. It's whatever you want to call it. We're out there with our running back out in space with our receivers, right? So instead of running that kid up the middle, like I said, this year, this I think was 2015. This kid was our guy, the running back. And so just different ways of getting him the ball in space, And so here you can see the numbers. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the box. You can see on the film. There's a 7th over there, I think. So, man, we got 5 with kind of a 4.5 over there. So, man, obviously the numbers are there. And we even got in some short distance. So, man, if he could get the first down, he'd just go. And this kid wasn't the greatest athlete in the world, but, man, he could run quarterback draw for 5 yards here. And, man, 62 should have just went and blocked, pass pro there. You're here. We're doubling pass pro to that guy. Man, that's an easy. In years that, man, we did throw and couldn't run, we'd get some of this on short yardage even. Now here's their D tackle, number 74 per se, out there in space, because really, he's the 5 technique. So he's staying true, and we're thinking, okay, we're going to put one of our best players out there. And just all we're doing is run bubble and quick game most of these times, guys. It's pretty, it's not, like I said, we're not adding anything outside of our offense to get, the formation's crazy and all that, but the play and what the kids know, that we're not changing it. So we'll also do, man, we'll put them to the wide side, then we'll put them to the short side. We'll put both of them to the left, to the single side, and we'll go quattro right. So we'll go 4x1. Again, same thing. We can do anything to the right side. We can run quarterback draw. We can run quick screen to the left. When we've had our better receiver, again, if they're double teaming our A, doing something like this to get him the ball, or make him overload the short side and throwing it wide. And then sometimes what we'll do is we'll put the right tackle to the right, left tackle to the left. So there's a lot of things you can do, and we've done to mess around with this. And again, look at, you can tell these guys are receivers. 76 is a receiver, and whoever that is, I can't see his number. 50 something is a receiver. They just got, man. What we do is we always buy an extra 3 or 4 triple X or double X jerseys. So when they come off on the side, they slip it on real quick, and so we got to kind of warn them. Now, if you got some backup kids that don't play defense or offense, they can just keep it on. And man, they run out there when you call the formation. And again, now if you like your linemen out there, when we really try to go fast, and I like doing it with the linemen out there. But some years, like like I said, we only got 750 kids in the school. Like this year, 6 kids went both ways. So it was a way of kind of giving those guys a break. Some of my guys too, when we did it a few times. But and again, it's just right. It's bubbles and house. So I'm gonna get through this. So this is my dad's team. They know what we do, and they know we're going to quick screen. And this is right before the end of the quarter. And sometimes we'll use this stuff, hopefully trying to get them to use a timeout at the end of the quarter just to see how they line up. This was at the end of the quarter. Now what we did here, guys, is we have 2 H-backs here as guards, right? We got the center. So we put left guard, left tackle out here. We put the right guard, right tackle out there. So really it's just 2-by-1 set receivers, right, with 2 H-backs. So now what we could do is we can run little tight end dumps or whatever you want to call them. If they put 2 linemen and 1 backer right now, so now it makes you think what they have here. We can run quick screen to both sides. We can still man it, but these guys are just like linemen. We still got 3-on-3 if we need a block, if they want to stay in. So usually we long count, take a look at it. Man, we caught them cheating up, and this was right before the quarter, and this was huge. Quarterback check, man, we made a little, we'll watch it from the back here. You can see the time. And really we were just doing it. We were going to go into the quarter. Man, he looked at the matchup. We looked at the matchup. We thought, okay, they're so used to us throwing quick screens. And man, it was just a go route to the outside guy. But again, it's the same look. It's a different look, but now we got H-backs again. 2 guys that can block, but now we can do different things with the personnel they use at the lineman, but they can still block. And that's just this formation here. So now, man, again, you can use those left guard, left tackle and be receivers. We didn't that year. I think that was 2018. We actually put our guard and tackle out there. But again, you can just have your center be out there, be a lineman. The rest of them could be receivers with lineman numbers. Again, same concept. We got play to the left, play to the right, quarterback draw, but we also had a few gimmick plays that we could do with the fullbacks. Again, if they had linemen, not linebackers, guarding, and that kind of thing. And like I said, basic stuff. We just go, hey, our bubble slant, right? We knew these guys would be aggressive. Man, we got 2 twins here that are both at Southern Illinois. That and this was probably the best receiving core I had in 2016. And we had a big 6'4" receiver that ended up playing basketball at UIS. But again, it's a way of just running quick game and changing the look. And man, that's an easy bubble slant. I mean, you're not going to get a better look for a bubble slant than that. Because they were worried about the quick screen again. And that was the other reason we did this kid. This is that Will Putnam kid. I think he's the starting right guard, left guard at Clemson now. We couldn't have blocked him with 5 people, so we might as well get him out. You can see what he did to our center here. And this was his sophomore year before he moved to Florida. Again, another way of changing the just some different fun, but man, it's basic. It's not, again, it's a bubble slant, right? It's nothing. earth-shattering scheme-wise. Man, we're just doing a little something different, giving the defense a different look. Again, we're not living in this. We want the defense just to, whether it's a change-up. Again, he was starting slot in that Southern, getting the quarterfinal game this weekend, Sunday night. Vontae Cox, and again, just getting him the ball in space, and just Chatham's a great, well-coached team. You just line up in your basic 2x2, 3x1. They're going to play your bubbling out pretty good. Not that we don't make it work, but man, again, just a different look against these boys. And again, the big 6'4" kid this game, again, they were playing different coverages to the wide side of him. So we really, again, this was a time we thought, man, we got one-on-one coverage away in this formation. We saw one-on-one, it wasn't successful, but man, we took our shot at just throwing it up to him. So, because most of the other games, they're kind of a lot of too deep, a lot of different roll coverages towards them. And so we weren't getting any shots to him. And this is a way of getting a shot. This was something we did where we basically all the linemen were about 6 feet apart. And the last second we shift. Now we can also, run like a quarterback sneak here with the quarterback. So we did some short yards, but I also use this as like I said, we're always fast, no huddle. We shift last second, we long count. With about 7 seconds on the clock, we shift in real quick and we run a play real fast. So maybe it's a play, and you'll see against Dad. And a lot of times this is a way of me stalling or taking my time, which we don't have to do too much, thank God. But there's some games where, for example, Dad's team a few years ago, I don't want to show the kids that I'm trying to slow it down because, man, we're going fast, and I'd be waving the white flag before the game. And my kids are smart enough to know that. But if you do it this way, it's kind of a, it's disguised and it's fun. They don't think you're stalling. But, man, so we got some pre-snap options out of this. But a lot of times, I'm calling the play right now. It might just be power right. So they're going to shift. I think we're not getting unbalanced here. So when we shift, we don't want to, they're well coached. They're going to recognize unbalanced out of the huddle. So we want to line up as quick as we can, call height, and go. Yeah, tight ends, the receiver, and we're just running power. But again, they're shifting last second. 2 didn't even know what we were doing. And we're running power. Here's a back view of it. So, man, that's the guard. That's the center. It's about 6 feet apart. So if we got it, if they don't have it, say this nose is really he stays as a true 3, then we'll just run. Man, we'll have, we got a few little gimmicks where the quarterback just whoop, and runs ISO or right up. But, man, if they got 2 1s where they're covering both A gaps, then we'll shift usually. But we also have some things we can do if they line up a certain way out of this. But our intention really is to shift. Again, that's unbalanced. There's a receiver at tackle. And we are not a zone team. I don't know. This was 2012. You can see why we don't run zone. But you get the concept of, shifting late against my dad's team another year. So the other thing we started doing is, I've always been a guy. I was just like, why does the center always snap the ball, or the middle guy, I guess, right? So I like changing in the pass. Number one, it teaches my O-line coach does a great job. He teaches everyone to snap the football, and even if he can't, we'll move the center to tackle sometimes or the guard wherever we shift. And I think it changes. Number one, it changes the front for the defense. Confuses them. It changes the landmark for the quarterback. So now, if you got a great DN and you bump him in, now, man, it changes the path to the left for the quarterback, right? It changes the view if you got a shorter quarterback. So this was the championship game last year, Chicago St. Rita Catholic League team. We noticed on film, number one, their D end here is he was a big time player. He was the reverse guy. He was the boot reverse, right, guy. And so we thought, man, if we brought the tackle in the center, now his edge, and they kind of played man. So, man, when this was our backup quarterback and was our quarterback this year, he went. So this guy right here was the boot reverse guy. And so we thought from that angle, and he tried. And this was the second touchdown of the championship game that day. Watch it from the back view. So, man, we shifted. This is the left tackle, and we shifted everybody over. I wish I'd show you. We started off with the center there, and then they shift. So now the tackle is really the center. And 44, again, was the boot reverse guy. So instead of him being out here where he can kind of see inside out, see that quarterback, see the right now, it changes his landmark totally in what he's used to. So even if he takes one step, gets his hand on that lineman, man, he's late, and he was late. Here it is. So, man, we'll shift. And, again, it throws a team off. And I don't know why people, again, especially if I was a zone guy, I would do this a lot more. And it made them call a timeout. But, man, here's their 5 technique. And I promise you these guys are as well coached as anybody. Here's normally their nose, who's now really the 5. Here's the Griffin game this year versus my dad. We get a diamond look. This was our stud receiver quarterback. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to shift. And some of you guys have seen this shift. Kind of distracting. Look like we're calling plays, and they just throw it right back. Center just throws it right back. We actually didn't get in on that one. Should have. This was the next game. The same kind of concept. When teams are, and this was last year against my dad in the quarterfinals, was a big game. And we were down here with about 10 seconds, maybe less than that, even 6 seconds. No timeouts. And, when we long count, we're going to go fast about 65, 70% of the time. But the other 30%, we long count and then check with me. So, the good teams, man, they'll look over that when we check, they check, right? And so when we catch them, man, we try to snap it, silent count after 1,000, 1,000, 2,003, and basically the linemen don't move. The 2 running backs block, but really it's just go routes. And down here it's a fade route if we're inside the 20. And again, you can see there they kind of relax, man, snap it. And this, like I said, that was big and didn't give their time that they got a little guy at corner. We had a big guy, number 4. Throw the fade. But you can watch it the back view. You can watch their linebackers and everyone kind of look over once we start long counting. Linemen don't move. There's 5 seconds. So he acts like he's long counting. The other time I do is if these corners, man, they're looking at me trying to hear what I'm saying. So if I catch them doing that, and this kid actually made a good recovery, this was 3 years ago, they look over, man, we'll start doing this, and I'll start making all these motions and yelling just random words, and we try to catch him sleeping off guard. And again, this is our best player over here to the left. And again, that kid did a good job, but man, I got lucky one-on-one coverage. See very well there. Hide the tackle here, man. We play a team that plays, man, a lot of man cover zero. Again, coming out of a muddle huddle, put the left tackle over here. He looked like a receiver. Put our tight end fullback kid at tackle, drag, and, man, kick step, and then release, half roll. Again, versus man teams. We're a big, hey, jailbreak screen team, and again, here's a play 12 was our guy. That was 2011 where he had 2,000 yards, 2,400 yards receiving. A little eye candy. We call this Moses because it should part like the Red Sea. And I think I got this from Coach Guy. I think maybe it was Coach Puck who did this play one time. But, man, our left guard and left tackle are going to fly out, and Griffin does a great job, right? You go out, man, they're going to get their hands on, they're going to go. He's reading guard. He's reading guard, so we're doing the same thing. Our linemen are flying out of here. We try to split. He should have been a little bit more patient. This H-back here, and he's just going to split right in between those two linebackers. And he should have split them a little bit better than that, but I think I'm out of time. We are real quick. We are an empty punt team. I have not real punted. I have not gotten a tight punt. I am a huge empty punt guy. Now our quarterback does it every year. We put them back about 8 yards in empty, and by doing that, they cannot hit our center head up. They got to wait for them so they can put them in a gap, but they can't go head up. So we put them 8 yards back. And all we're doing with our receivers is running 5 verticals. He's got the middle of the field. He's got 2 yards outside the hash. He's got the sidelines. He's got the hash. He's got the sidelines. And by doing that now, so they don't know, nobody knows we're punting the ball except for me and the quarterback. So they think they're going to run 5 vert, and they're looking at the quarterback. When that quarterback goes to punt, or the ball's punted, man, they're naturally in their lanes. This guy, he chases ball. These guys are already on the hash. They squeeze, and these guys are contained sidelines. And then the linemen we talk about, they have a go call, but they are just 5-step protection. Because in high school, guys, and I'm not bringing in anybody any better than the 5 linemen I got. And so they pass protect better than anyone I got. So I think in 15 years, we've got 2-3 blocked. That's all. We almost get no returns because everyone's scared we're going to throw the football. And again, the receivers are running hard like it's a route. And then once they see us, once they see him punt the ball, so the only person who knows is me and the quarterback. Now sometimes the guys see me and they know. But again, if you're going to cover all 5 guys and you're going to have return guys, 6 people, you can only bring 5 people. The math says there's only 5 people they can bring up front. So you start bringing all tight, and I don't like wasting time on punt team. So, man, we have not ran a tight punt. Even down in our own zone, I bet it's been 4 years last time we ran any kind of tight punt where we were so far down. We're getting empty. It's all 5 verticals. Any questions?
Yeah, guys, if you have questions, you can go ahead and throw them in the chat for Coach or the Q&A.
Am I out of time, I think?
Yeah, but we still have time for a question if there are any.
Oh, okay. Let me put my info back on. If they got any questions, you gotta read it to me because I can't even see. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, Coach, if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to your busy Thursday.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Man, have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Have a good one.
Yeah.